Hi guys, this is Dr. Gonzalez, and you are watching the Psychology Social Work 4370 Syllabus Review for Summer 2026. And you'll notice that in this video right now you don't see myself. I'm choosing to record this particular one without input from my webcam because I'm still trying to work out a couple of bugs with my recording setup here for the summer. So the goal of this video is to provide you with a comprehensive review of the syllabus. You can print the syllabus out, or there is a little packet in Canvas that says something along the lines of syllabus notes. Feel free, because the content is pretty much the same. And as you're probably aware, you can also access the course syllabus through Simple Syllabus as well. So like I said, this is the summer 2026 semester, and this is Psychology 4370, which is non-experimental research methods and statistics. That's me. I'm your instructor. My name is Kathy Gonzalez. You can email me there at gonzalezca@uhcl.edu, and I offer virtual office hours on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 4 to 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. If those times don't work out for you, you're welcome to email me. I do ask, though, that you try to schedule office hours in advance. I know that we're all really busy during the summer. I don't typically open up the camera and sit from 4 to 5 p.m. every day, but I'm willing to whenever you need it. But I'm also aware that you guys also have other schedules, other courses, etc., etc., so I'm pretty flexible with office hour times if you need to meet. There are several texts that are required for this course. The first is Morling, that's Research Methods in Psychology. That's the yellow book. If you're getting the electronic version, it'll be offered through Cortex. And the same thing is true for the APA Publication Manual. Those are the two primary texts you will need. There's a third text that I did request this semester, but I'm not sure if it actually got included, and that is the text about how to write a research paper. I will give you some more information about that in the first week's presentation. The last two things you see here on this slide: Learning Statistics with Jamovi, a tutorial for psychology students and other beginners. That is a free ebook that is available online. I will provide you with the link in the syllabus, and there will be a link somewhere else in the course when we get closer to the stats portion. And the other material that you're required to obtain is the Jamovi software. This is free. It's an open sourced software available online, and you can download it. There's a link in your syllabus, and there will be a link in Canvas as well. There are versions of it for Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and the Chromebook, but the only version that I am very familiar with is the Windows version. I know students in the past have said that the Chromebook version is a little weird. So you might need to make arrangements if you don't have a if you only have a Chromebook. Prerequisites for this course: there are no obligatory prerequisites, but it will help if you have taken Introduction to Psychology, Statistical Methods in Psychology, and Psychological Thinking. Now, if you haven't taken those courses, don't worry. As long as you participate by listening to the lectures, doing the assignments, and reading the material for this class, you will be fine. This is an online course. It uses Canvas. It's 100% asynchronous, so all exams and assignments are going to go through Canvas, and that means I'm not going to accept stuff if you email it to me, which I've never really had that issue in the past, so I'm not really worried about it. Description of this course. This course is going to give you a thorough introduction to non-experimental research methods as they're applied generally in psychology. I do try to bring in other aspects of it for my social work students and for students that might be coming from another major. We're really going to focus in this course on correlational and qualitative approaches. But you're going to learn how to select the appropriate statistics, research methods, and what analyses you need to run, and how to interpret statistical results in a number of non-experimental situations. We're going to emphasize descriptive and inferential statistics, and we're particularly going to focus on correlation, regression, and non-parametric tests like the chi-squared. You're going to apply those course concepts through our assignments, which are going to focus on data analysis activities, critiquing other research, and then we're going to write a comprehensive research proposal paper at the end of the semester. There are several learning outcomes for this course. At the end of the course, I feel like you will be able to demonstrate a good understanding of the fundamentals, concepts, and different types of non-experimental research. I expect you to show me a mastery of statistical literacy and awareness. You're going to be able to tell me the strengths and limitations of different quantitative and qualitative research techniques and methods. And I feel like you're going to be able to identify and carry out appropriate statistical analysis techniques for research questions that are focused on non-experimental methods. You will also show a mastery of the processes that are involved with coding, analyzing, and interpreting data, both qualitative and quantitative data, and we're going to use Jamovi to do that, which is the statistical program that the university wants us to use. And to sum it all up, you're going to effectively communicate research findings through written assignments using proper APA style. There are some technology requirements that you need to meet in order to be successful in this class. You need a desktop or laptop computer that has a working webcam. I do not recommend iPads. You might be able to use your iPad maybe to take a test, but you're not going to be very successful. There's a lot of writing, and an iPad's just not very convenient for that. You do need access to the internet. That access needs to be good, and by good I mean not like on a hotspot on a cell phone. Your device itself also needs to have sufficient memory and administrative privileges for you to be able to download and install two pieces of software. The first is Jamovi, and the second is the Respondus Lockdown Browser, which we use for testing. As I mentioned earlier, there are some required software for this class. You need to have access to Microsoft Office, which you do as a student of UHCL. The two parts of Office that we're going to primarily work with are Word and perhaps PowerPoint. You also need to have a PDF reader. I suggest Adobe Acrobat Reader because it's free, but Chrome itself is capable of opening up a PDF. I don't recommend using Google Docs or the Mac equivalent. I don't recommend Google Docs because it changes the format of a lot of the things that we're using, a lot of the templates that I provide for you. And I don't recommend Mac because I don't have a Mac here. So if you send me something in Pages, I'm not going to be able to open it up. Again, I mentioned we're going to be using Jamovi. It's a statistical analysis software program. It is free. It is something that you download from a website, and there is a version available for Windows, Mac, Linux, and Chromebooks. Now, I have to address this because it has been an issue in the past. If you don't have the ability to download and install Jamovi, or to use the cloud version of Jamovi or Microsoft Office, that's not an excuse for not completing assignments. You've got to find a way to do this. This class and the experimental methods class are going to require you to run that program, so it's important that you find a solution. The last component of software that I need to address is the Respondus Lockdown Browser. All of our exams are given through the Respondus Lockdown Browser with a webcam. Your sessions will be monitored. Actually, they'll be recorded. I'm not going to monitor them because you are free to take the exam anytime within the exam window. But you've got to have this particular lockdown browser because it will record you while you are taking your exam. I'm sorry that it has come to this in the world of online courses, but it's the reality. There's a link in the syllabus and a link in Canvas to the particular lockdown browser that you will need. It is directed through UHCL. If you're using a Mac, when you click on that link, it will change to the Mac version. If you're in Windows, it should be set to go there. Technical skills that you need to be successful, they're not many, and you probably already have these and many more skills. You need to be able to navigate the internet and access specific websites. You need to be able to upload and download files, which are in Canvas, right? You're going to need to be able to use a Microsoft Word template that I send you. Basically, it's just a document that's formatted so that you can open it up and start typing. And you're going to need to learn how to use the snip function in Windows. And if you don't know how to use that, I will show you later on. And there may be some other skills that you might need along the way. Student engagement is very essential to being successful in this course, and it's asynchronous. So that means we don't meet together all at one time. So you might be wondering, well, how do I approach this class? Well, in my opinion, you should approach it the same way you would an in-person course. And the way you can be successful is first complete readings before you dive into the material for each module. When you're watching the lecture videos, you can actively engage in those videos by taking notes and by paying attention, not having the video on and trying to do 5 other things at once. And staying current with your assignments and my announcements will help you stay active in the class. Consistent, intentional engagement is critical. That will help you understand the concepts we're going over in the course. It will help you build statistical literacy, and it'll also help you do well on the tests. I think you need to treat this course like a structured, scheduled commitment rather than something that you try to fit in whenever it's convenient for you. Now, I understand you've got jobs and other responsibilities, but there's another video that you will watch in the first week that will give you some success skills for online courses. Treating this course just like a in-person, face-to-face course will help you. So I suggest you schedule a certain time during your week that you dedicate to this course, and creating a schedule that will help you stay on task with all of the things that you're responsible for. Now, during that time that you set apart, I would suggest you read the assigned readings, watch the lecture videos, and take notes, just like you would if you were sitting in a classroom with me. And if you need any other tips, especially with effective note-taking or study habits, please reach out to me and I'll be happy to give you those tips. During our interactions, both with me or your peers, we may discuss controversial issues. Even if you don't agree with the viewpoint being presented, please be respectful of other people's points of view. When you're communicating with typed discussion questions, don't use uppercase letters, all uppercase. It's like yelling. Most everybody knows that these days. But you also have to be aware of your humor and tone, because in an online environment, you're missing the context. So your communication attempts can be misinterpreted. Your written communication needs to be concise and on point, and you need to keep all course communication on topic. If you're meeting with me, I expect you to have your webcam turned on. For exams, it also needs to be turned on as well. And you need to be aware of your surroundings. Who is in the building with you? Who is in the house with you? What's going on while you're doing those activities? Like, are you texting? Are you cooking? If we have a virtual meeting, please dress appropriately. I've never had an issue with that, so I don't expect to have one now. And any sort of disrespectful behavior or a violation of the student code will not be tolerated, and I will have to refer you to the Dean of Students and possibly remove you from the course. The attendance policy is based off of your assignment submissions, including discussions. That's essential part of an asynchronous 100% online format. We count your attendance by looking at your submissions of assignments. For communication, all communication needs to be done through your UHCL email address. Remember, it has an aggressive spam filter. So if you email me from a Gmail or a Tuda mail or a Yandex mail, it may not come through and be labeled as spam. Email me whenever you have a question. I try to respond as quickly as possible. usually within 24 hours, but if you email me at 1 in the morning, I may not get back to you for a few hours, okay? I do expect you to check your UHCL email and Canvas daily, and if we are going to have a virtual meeting, including office hours, it will be conducted either through Zoom or Microsoft Teams. The university is moving away from Zoom, so this semester might be the time where I fully transition to Teams. I do offer extra credit from time to time. I have not had a semester where I have not offered extra credit. But when I do, I will make that opportunity available to everyone in the class. Extra credit is not available on a case-by-case basis, so please don't email me requesting it. If you are concerned about your grade, however, do reach out to me. I can give you tips on ways to improve your grade, on future quizzes, homework, assignments, exams, etc. Your assignments in this class are going to, for the most part, be based on APA format, which is the American Psychological Association's standardized format. And that helps all research in psychology be communicated with clear, effective writing skills. So when I refer to APA format, I'm referring to that APA manual that you were required to purchase. At minimum, APA format means you're going to use a 12-point legible font. I prefer Times New Roman, but Georgia and Cambria are also acceptable. Your document must be double-spaced, and it needs a title. Now, that's the basics. There are a lot of other components to that we will get to in the APA format module, but that's the bare bones. Now, I will send templates, especially during the statistics portion of this course. I will send you templates for your homework assignments, and they may not be APA formatted. Please just use the template when I give you a template. All of your written assignments need to use proper grammar, spelling, and punctuation, and points will be deducted when you have a lot of grammatical or mechanical errors. You should, by default, write and complete sentences. This is a university course. It's an upper level university course, so you should all be able to write in a clear and efficient way by this point. You should always proofread your submissions before you submit them and use available resources. You have the Writing Center, and there are some grammar checking tools that will help you ensure clarity and correctness. But be very careful. A lot of the old things that we highly recommended, like Grammarly, for example, will really cause your AI usage detector score to go through the roof. So if you really want a reliable source for writing assistance, I would recommend the Writing Center. My grading policy is pretty standard. Grades are based on performance, not need, likability, or effort. Grades are calculated using the formula that you see below here. Assignments are 30%. Exams are 30%. The discussion boards are 5%. The city training is going to be 5%. And the research proposal paper is 30. So 30 and 30 is 60, plus 30 is 90, plus 5 and 5 make 100. Down here you can see the standard letter grades as approved by UHCL. This is in the syllabus if you want to refer back to it. There are two ways I'm going to be assessing your learning. I will use a mixture of formative and summative evaluations. Formative assessments are assignments that are used to support learning while it's happening because they give you feedback, guidance, and an opportunity to practice before a major evaluation. These types of assessments help you identify areas that you are really good at and have mastered, and also identify the areas where you need improvement. And examples of formative assessments include assignments, discussion boards, data analysis exercises, and possibly short quizzes. Now, summative assessments are our high-stakes evaluations. We use these to measure what you've learned at the end of an instructional unit or the end of the course. And they help us get an overall understanding of your level of mastery of the objectives. So this includes things like exams, final projects, research proposals, and the cumulative final exam at the end of the course. The different kinds of assessments for learning are as follows. So I'm going to go exams first. You have 4 exams in this course. The exams include questions from lectures, readings, and any supplemental material that I might give you. There is usually a mixture of questions, multiple choice, matching, application, an essay. It's not like a 5-page essay, guys. It's just a longer, open-ended question, right? And then short responses. When we get into the statistics portion, there may be some data analysis and interpretation questions. Exams in general are 150 minutes or 2.5 hours, but I try to add time as I get to know you guys and know your capability, right? Exams need to be submitted by 11:59 p.m. on the day that they're due, and exams will be late after 60 minutes, and points will be deducted 1 point per minute. So exams 1, 2, and 3 are not cumulative, but they are intense. So, for example, exam 1 is going to cover maybe modules 1 through 4, okay? The 4th exam at the end of the course is cumulative. Exams 1, 2, and 3 are not open book, but exam 4 is, okay? I will go over all of this before each exam, don't worry. Exams also, they have to be taken through the Respondus Lockdown browser, and you do need a webcam to be able to take the exam. Now, every week you will have 1 or 2 assignments. Actually, since this is the summer, you will probably have more than that. But every module has at least 1 assignment. Now, many of the assignments that you're going to tackle at the beginning of this course are actually going to be part of your final paper. So it's important that you do them at the beginning of the course because I can give you very good feedback, and you can take that feedback and incorporate it into your final paper. Towards the second half of the course, the assignments tend to focus more on data and statistical analysis. You will be asked to participate in some discussion boards. These are very simple questions that will help you show your communication of the ideas that you've learned. You'll exchange ideas, you'll get feedback from your peers, and you may be engaged in some sort of collaborative problem solving. Those discussion boards give you a chance to talk with other people. Part of this course will require you to do something called the City Training. This is a training that is apart from UHCL. It's offered through a different program called the City Program. It is free, but you will take the Social, Behavioral, and Educational Researcher Ethics training there. There will be instructions in Canvas. The training is free. If you get to a point when you're registering for it where it asks you to pay, you haven't done something right, and you need to stop and contact me. When you finish the training, it's going to issue you a completion certificate, and you are going to upload that to Canvas by 11:59 on the due date. And as I mentioned earlier, one of the large summative assessments of this course is the research proposal paper. It's worth 30% of your grade. It's going to describe a proposed research project using a non-experimental method and statistical analysis. I will give you a template, a rubric, and there's an explanatory video. You'll submit that to Canvas on the due date, and there are no extensions for this assignment because it's due on the last day of class. Now, segue into the late work policy. Turning in your work is essential. Turning it in on time is mandatory, okay? That helps you stay engaged, it helps me give you feedback, and it helps you prepare for the next assignment. Late work delays me grading it, and it hinders your academic process. So you need to manage your time effectively and submit your assignments on time. If for some reason you feel like you won't meet a deadline, you need to contact me by email as soon as possible to request an extension. Don't wait to the last minute. I am very open with giving you extensions, but they need to be asked for before the due date. I will consider extreme circumstances after the due date, but you need to get in contact with me as soon as possible. Now, if I give you an extension, you have 7 calendar days, 7 days to do it, okay? If you turn it in late, that's it. You know, it's either going to go by the late policy or it won't be accepted. So if you submit it after the due date without an extension, or if you submit it after your extension due date, it's going to be subject to a penalty of 10% per calendar day, including weekends, for a maximum of 5 days late. After 5 days, I'm not going to take it, okay? I am also imposing a 5 extension limit this semester. Of course, in extreme circumstance, I may change that or give you an exemption from it. But in the past, especially this past spring, I had people fall into a very bad habit of asking for an extension every week. That's not how the real world works. So while I do want to be sensitive to your needs, I want you to understand as well that, deadlines are deadlines. I also want you to ask for those extensions in a timely manner. Don't wait till the end of the semester to ask me for an extension for something you were supposed to complete in week 2, or asking if you can submit missing or incomplete assignments. I'm going to have to say no. So, bottom line, be proactive, manage your time wisely, and please note that the late policy applies to exams and assignments. Academic honesty. As a UHCL student, you're responsible for knowing the academic honesty standards. You can find those in the UHCL catalog and the Student Life Handbook under the University Academic Honesty Policy. Plagiarism is not tolerated in this course. That includes not citing a source, using a created product without crediting the source, or using generative AI to create all or part of an assignment or an exam. Those are just examples. It's not limited to that. Plagiarism will give you a 0 as a grade penalty, or a deduction in your grade, or you could fail the course. Just depends on the situation. Violations are documented and reported to the Dean of Students, and you can visit that website at the bottom right there to learn more about plagiarism. Within the academic honesty discussion, we need to talk about cheating. Cheating on exams will result in a grade of 0 for the exam. Cheating includes these particular actions, but it's not limited to these. Using an outside material on the test, except for the final. The final, you are allowed to use your notes. If you use another person or have someone else take the test for you, that is cheating. If you use another electronic device during the test, that is cheating, okay? Sharing questions and answers with others is also cheating. I was aware of a group me last year where answers were being shared around. Well, this year there are different versions of the test. So you may not have the same version as everybody else. And on the same token, receiving those questions from someone else or answers from someone else is also considered a violation of academic honesty. So any activity, including exams, that is copied from another student, that's copied from the internet or otherwise plagiarized, or shows evidence of being answered using generative AI will be given a 0. I absolutely love artificial intelligence. I love ChatGPT. It has revolutionized the way I do a lot of my job. I think it's got great potential in research. But in this course, you have to view AI as a tool to help you, and not the generator of material that you intend to pass off under your authorship. So that includes using AI to generate answers or to complete assignments, exams, project papers, or any other course-related task, including discussions. I'm going to actively look for indicators of AI-generated answers or papers. Now, you are all familiar with Canvas and the Turnitin function in there, which includes an indicator for AI usage. Your assignment is going to be run through that every time. I'm going to consider your writing style, that AI score, and any other factors that might be indicative of generative AI use. If your assignment gives me a score of 50 to 100%, you may be required to resubmit the assignment. Now, I keep may be in there because I do recognize that AI usage detectors are not perfect. But at the same time, when I get a 100% AI generated score consistently across a particular student, I have no choice but to assume that you're using AI. And at minimum, as a responsible instructor, I have to actually ask you about that or call it to your attention. All right. This semester, I have decided to implement a penalty for AI usage scores of 50 to 100%. And I hate to say this, but I'm not terribly Worried about that 50% there, but like I said previously, if I get a 100% AI usage score on all of your assignments, I am going to eventually have to reduce that grade. More than one infraction will result in failure of the course and a referral to academic honesty violations. The University of Houston system and all of its universities are committed to maintaining and strengthening an educational, working, and living environment where students, faculty, staff, and visitors are free from discrimination and harassment. It's unethical, and the university will take appropriate action to eliminate discrimination and harassment from occurring, preventing it from reoccurring, and to address the effects. For more information, you can visit the website that's listed here, and it's also inside your syllabus. If you believe you have a disability that requires an academic adjustment, accommodation, or auxiliary aid, you need to contact accessibility support. You can do that by contacting them by phone, or you can email disability@uhcl.edu, or you can go in person to the Student Services Building, room 1.302. UHCL complies with Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 1973. The bottom line is, if you feel like you have a disability that is protected under Section 504, you have to implement the proper paperwork before I can give you those accommodations. Okay? They'll email me when everything is set up. There is the website right here if you need to get more information. Incompletes. A grade of incomplete can be given at the discretion of the instructor. If you're making satisfactory progress in the course, they're usually only given for emergency situations. Those situations happen after the withdrawal date, but prior to the end of the semester. So if you're going to try for an incomplete, you've got to talk to me first. I have to provide an incomplete grade contract to you, and that's going to outline all of the work that you need accomplished before I can change that I to a grade. It's going to specify a deadline on there. The bottom line is you have to request these before the end of the semester. You have to be passing. The contract is necessary, and to be completed, to get that grade change, it has to be completed. I need to make you aware of the 6-drop rule limitation. This is for students who have entered college for the first time in fall of 2007. If you drop this or any other course between the first day of class and the census date for the semester, it does not affect your 6-drop rule. But if you drop it after the census date and the last day of class, it will count as one of your 6 permitted drops. So just be cautious before you drop this or any other course, and you can visit the registrar there for more information. The University of Houston does not, it prohibits discrimination in all aspects of employment and education based on sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression. It also ensures equal opportunity for everyone for employment without regard to age, race, color, disability, religion, national origin, veteran status, genetic information, or sex, including pregnancy, except when there is a distinction by law. Employees, students, and visitors to campus with questions or complaints regarding discrimination or sexual misconduct, including sexual violence, under Title IX, can contact the Title IX coordinator, and you can visit this website for more information. I cannot recommend the Writing Center more to you. It is a wonderful resource that offers tutoring services to university students, staff, or faculty. Any kind of writing project, you can go for a tutoring session during any stage of the writing process. Brainstorming, narrowing a topic, clarifying a thesis, organizing your thoughts, documenting your sources, or simply improving the flow of your language. They have tutors that will help you. They will give you good feedback and advice. They offer online tutoring for students who can't come to campus. They have the Center for Online Tutoring, or COLT, and they can respond to your submission using email, instant message chat, or over the phone. They also have a 72-hour turnaround time for online submissions. Now, that is excluding weekends. You can contact the Writing Center and make an appointment, or you can come in person, or you can call them, or you can email them, or you can go to their website right here and click Make an Appointment. Please use them. This is a wonderful resource that doesn't involve AI. We also have the Center for Student Advocacy and Community. This is a center that offers educational opportunities, advocacy, and builds up the community. Okay? You can visit the website there for a better look at all of the services and supports that they offer. I reserve the right to make appropriate changes in the syllabus. It's your responsibility to keep updated on the course information. That being said, I usually post an announcement every week, maybe on Sundays and sometimes on Mondays. But Sundays and Mondays kind of keep you up to date. Any changes that I need to make, I will address through that. That's the end of our syllabus review. Please make sure you go back and look at all of the other videos that you need to watch during the first week of class, because there are several, and I wish you luck with all of your endeavors during this course. Take care.